blackmail with junk fees. Blackmail over junk fees at location services and products all over the United States. And so, how junk fees secretly invaded reaction from CNBC a few hours ago. And so one of the things that was popping in my head, over this was the late fees, of course, the banks. There was, but the idea of junk fees is that it was a product or service that is not providing anything. It's not a product or service that's providing any additional value to what you're already getting. And it's a way to pull in revenue without really competing. And that was by Rohit Chhabra, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So this woman, How to Kill Junk Fees website, and they're promoting that a little bit on the CNBC video. And so she had gone to a resort possibly during the pandemic. I don't remember exactly if they even said, but I remember this going on during the pandemic. People weren't going to hotels. They weren't going to all these places. So they basically added on these resort fees, and that was going on in the news a little bit. And there was a $1 mandatory charity donation that went back to the hotel after she researched the charity. Like, could you even write it off, And so I started thinking about some of these backdating where, some of these junk fees already came from. And I was thinking Sam's Club, Costco, and, it's not providing any other additional service to what you already get when you go to a store for low prices. Maybe Amazon Prime, they're getting prepaid shipping, but you could be ordering more product in order to get value out of the free shipping. But Sam's Club or Costco, it's like, why don't they just bring up the price a little bit? That was just my thing. I have a membership to Sam's Club, but it's just one of those things. If you don't want to shop there, or you don't want the quantity that some of those family size value brings, then, or because you may be saving like 25 cents a piece, or something like 25 cents per unit versus going to another store. And then it just depends on the cost benefit analysis, right? So the next thing was a junk fee, was including like Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and even like my employer Kroger. And I'm like, the cashback fee. The cashback fee is more relatively new with Kroger. They didn't always charge it. As far as I can remember, Dollar Tree and Family Dollar have charged it for the longest time, ever, at least since I had been purchasing. And theirs is a little higher. It could be $1, $2, whatever. But if you get like $100 back from Kroger, it's just going to get 50-cent fee. And so it changes the dynamic. If you were going to Kroger before, I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh, if I quit, I'll just be able to get $3.25 back, and I won't have to pay an ATM fee or anything. But it's not a brick and mortar bank. Maybe it's an online bank. And I'm like, oh, now that they have this 50-cent fee, they don't charge that to employees. But it changes that whole dynamic up, where it's like, oh, I need to plan better in order to transfer that $3.25 or $8, whatever, to my brick and mortar bank, and have that ready, so I do not incline a 50-cent fee. Like, why would I? That percentage markup is just absolutely ridiculous. It's almost like you'd be better off charging to a credit card. But I don't say get a cash advance, but you understand what I'm saying. So the thing is, the late fees as well with banks and stuff, then credit cards, they were trying to lower that to $8. But of course, who's going to succumb to that $8 fee when you lower that? Could it be people that always pay on time? For instance, with mortgages, that's going on right now. And those with higher credit scores, when they get a home mortgage loan, they won't get the best interest rate that they could possibly get. As to prior, they're going to, I don't want to say punish them, but for lack of a better term, we'll go with that for the moment. And for the people with lower credit scores, they're going to not penalize them as much, and they're going to be subsidized by the higher payments from the borrowers. And it's somewhat controversial, and it's like, okay, I was thinking just to myself, what are they doing buying a home? Maybe, but they said that one late payment could drop your score like 80 points. So that could put you there. You could be very well sound financially when it comes to the bank, but you just got behind on one late payment. With that said, so there's late fees, and then of course overdraft fees. And with that said, I know a few banks, they have gotten rid of even overdraft fees. Not what they just said. They said 15 out of the 20 largest banks had gotten rid of. CNBC report said that they gotten rid of the bounce check fees, but if it's not overdrafted by certain amounts, then there's sometimes no overdraft fees, and that could be a huge like stress reliever. That if you always keep like $50 in your account and you're always checking it, and then you have money in your savings to succumb to that, then you'll get it done with. But you could be very well balanced or something. But let's see here. Entertainment. There was an entertainment ticket, and the band got $6 out of a $42 ticket. And so the fees that involved in all of that garbage, like the fans might think, if you paid $42 for a ticket, oh, the band's charging me this. It's not just all these other fees. And so with that said, Taylor Swift, for instance, doesn't necessarily get that entire amount of money on those tickets. Of course, she's getting a lot, right? Potentially, but I don't want to say for sure. And so don't take my word on that. So hotel fees, FTC, CFPB, OCPB. So the FTC has a law supposedly that they said that prevents certain fees like this occurring, but they're doing it anyway because hey, it's a way to make profit. And then when the customers came back to the resorts, they still decided to keep charging, is what I've heard. It's like a reverse stock split fee. There's a reverse stock split, and some of the brokerage firms charge a fee, right, for these reverse stock splits. And so you have to keep track of your stocks in order to sell the stock before then, instead of just taking the reverse split and having it be that. So that could be irritating. And an overdraw account fee, 15 on 20 overdraft, resort fees, Dollar Tree Sam's Club, $1 mandatory. Oh, I read that twice. University tuition. So the university tuition had been a thing where they have to approve the tuition, and they had to prove it over and over again each year. But fees are something of the past, like the Sam's Club fee or the cashback fee, that I think that, it's not necessarily supposed to be a junk fee, but it's supposed to go maybe in a different category or in a different spectrum, and it's not going there. And the way you write off fees versus tuition fees versus what you write off tuition versus fees when it comes to a college or university, that can get really icky, right? And so they're messing with people's money that way and messing with people's money another way. So with that said, it's just a reaction video, and it seems like they are blackmailing you, because what are you to do if you are several miles away and the resort fee, or what are you to do in the instance where if you're already bought the product and you're at a different location. They had mentioned the fee that didn't always exist either. It was the check back fee. It was prior to 9/11. It didn't really exist, but you could buy the lowest economy flight and get charged for a check bag that's not mentioned on your ticket. And that sounds horrible, right? Like, why would you pay that? You would have just upgraded the class for $25 or something. You wouldn't pay, or $5, whatever. But it seems like these fees were junk fees. They mentioned in the video they were getting political about it, but I mean, it's financial. And it's not really political necessarily, but how if you cancel a telecom company, maybe I didn't mention utility company, but I consider utility company that an electricity company. If you cancel them, it could be before your contract's up. It could be $200, $500 in fees. If you cancel, they were specifically talking about your internet or your cell phone. If you change them, it could be $200. And so I'm like, but that's been going on since the beginning of time. This was before the resort fees and stuff. So that's something that could be really irritating, especially if you're like, oh well, um, I go out and you ask them, do they have a fee? And they say they do not, and then they charge you. And that it could be that predicament, like you can't get to a bank and you get slapped with a cashback fee. And so it's like, what are your options? You could go to another store, potentially that has cashback, if another store is open. You could go to the ATM that's going to charge you more than the cashback fee at one of the stores, or you could pony up the cashback fee. And so it's a giant fee, because of all of the fees that we have and stuff that go along with everything. It won't be long. It's like if they can make money off of it, they'll do it, right? So will they have a fee for a tipping? That's what I was thinking. Tipping, how the tipping economy has gotten out of control. So they'll ask you to tip like your cashier at the grocery store. I mean, there's baggers that potentially get tips sometimes, but they're not earning necessarily the tipping wage, I don't think. And so it's not like tipping a waiter or a waitress, but neither is tipping your mechanic or tipping the pizza delivery guy, but a girl. But they are driving potentially their own vehicle, so that's wear and tear on their vehicle. So, and their miles and their gas, and they're not necessarily being paid for that. But tipping in those instances of other places, because there was a payway or something, but like this woman was like, the tipping economy has gotten out of control. This was a different video, and I did react to it. It was like she was saying, I'm sorry, you're handing me a Starbucks drink, I'm not gonna tip you. And and I guess she was relating that to like going to a place where you're not really providing necessarily a service. Not want to say service, but say you tipped your hairdresser. Well, some of them get to set their own rates. So I'm like, I wouldn't want to tip my hairdresser for. I wouldn't want to tip my hairdresser. I wouldn't want to tip my hairdresser. I was like, my hairdresser charges what she wants to charge. I didn't think, tipping your own hairdresser. But, it's one of those things. And if your hairdresser is an employee of a place and is only earning, $10 an hour, that's a different thing. Or like tipping the nail salon people when they own their own nail salon and you just spent like $80 with them, do you tip them? Or it's one of those, I guess it's food for thought. But I was thinking with Sam's Club, if you tipped like, oh, that was what it was. I just got a newly used car, and the car salesman was talking about how he got a tip, and I do know they work mainly for commission, but their reputation as car salesmen, the car salesman or car sales girl reputation in society is so negative. And I really think that I started my thinking later. I was like, I think, are we taking it out on the car salesman or car sales girl that are trying to do their job, or are we taking it out on we're putting what the dealership does, and we're taking it out on the human being that's trying to make a living? And so with that said, okay, it is a few minutes later, and so thank you very much. So Blackmail with the whole junk fees and what that is all about. Okay. Thank you very much. Y'all like my hat? Y'all like my hat? Comment, like, subscribe if you like my hat, okay?